Well, hello and welcome to India Business Hour. I'm Ashmit Kumar, and here are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. Stock markets gained for the second straight day. Sensex up over 1,400 points. Nifty reclaims 24,000, but the rupee continues to weaken against the dollar, ending at a record low once again. At least 15 people are killed and 30 injured after a pickup truck plows through a crowd of New Year revelers in New Orleans. FBI is probing terror links, identifies the attacker who was shot and killed as Shamsuddin Jabbar, a U.S. citizen who served in the army and worked at Accenture, EY and Deloitte. A Tesla Cybertruck explodes outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas, killing the driver and injuring 7 others. Authorities say they found gas canisters, camp fuel canisters and large firework mortars in the back of the truck. The FBI is probing whether the incident was a terrorist act. The Heavy Industries Ministry says Tata Motors and M&M will receive 246 crore rupees cumulatively under the Auto PLI scheme for the last fiscal. Says that the first tranche of disbursement will take place this quarter. Adds that the scheme has led to investments worth 20,700 crore rupees and incremental sales of over 10,400 crore rupees. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman meets stakeholders from the financial sector and capital markets ahead of the budget. Industry seeks simpler taxation policies and procedures. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu says no action will be taken against the Adani Group over US allegations of bribery without concrete proof. This comes 5 weeks after Naidu said that the charges have been damaging to brand Andhra Pradesh and promised action. Mumbai sees over 140,000 property registrations in 2024, the highest in 13 years. Residential properties constitute 80% of the total registrations. Market share of properties under 50 lakhs decline, reflect a shift in buyer preference towards costlier properties. At least 11 people killed in Gaza after Israeli strikes target a so-called safe zone. The flooding situation worsens in Gaza even as people struggle with the drop in temperatures. Supreme Court pulls up the Punjab government as farm leader Dhaliwal. Hunger strike enters day 38. Court observes that state government appears to be acting to ensure that there is no reconciliation. Also adds that Dhaliwal is free to continue his protest and that the court is only concerned about his health and medical condition. India experiences its warmest year since comprehensive data collection began in 1901. Surpasses 2016, which had held the record so far. The average minimum temperature last year was up 0.9 degrees Celsius above the long period average. Prayagraj decks up for the Mahakumbh, which is held once every 144 years. Airfares and hotel prices are surging across the city. Well, let's begin with a look at the Lal Street. Well, the Lal Street extended gains for the second day in a row. Nifty and the Sensex gained nearly 2%, with the Nifty reclaiming the 24,200 mark in intraday trade. IT and auto stocks gained the most. The broader markets underperformed the blue chips marginally. Nigel D'Souza is joining us now with a quick wrap of the day's trading action. Nigel.
Well, what a bazooka start for the Nifty to trade 25. Yesterday, you had a bit of an up move, and today, you had a big bazooka move that we saw on the Nifty. The Nifty Bank, well, that's the one that came to the party midway through the trading session, and that's the one that gave it that additional booster shot, because the Nifty was hovering around that 24,000 odd mark in today. But at around noon, we did take that off, and from there on, there was no looking back. The key reasons for today's bounce, well, you had the Nifty weekly expiry that played out, so some of those call writers, they got stuck on the wrong side. The FI short positions are at multi-month highs, so there could be a case of strong short covering that took place. And participation relatively lower. We'll get a better trend once we do see, all the participation come back early next week. Auto stocks, well, they took the monthly updates with very positive view. All the stocks did well. Aichi Motors is one of the biggest gainers. You had Maruti Suzuki as well. The commentary from the management was good. And Ashok Leyland as well. So various parts of the auto segment itself did do well. And Bajaj Auto, one would think that the domestic sales numbers for the past month were lower, but the management said, well, it's a December phenomena, or it's a seasonal factor that played out, and they said otherwise, all is well. The other big gainers that on the Nifty were the Bajaj twins, that's Finance as well as FinServ, as well as Shriram Finance. All of them put on weight of more than 3 to around 5%. NBFC as well, there was a restriction that was coming to play in early January. Well, that's been pushed by a quarter or so, and that's why we did see some of them that did do well. Whether it was Mahindra & Mahindra Financial Services, you had Chola, L&T Finance, all of them did well. So it's a good start to 2025. However, the better trend will emerge early next week. The Nifty conquered the 20-day MA. The Nifty Bank needs to get past the 20-day MA to build onto this rally.
Thanks, Nigel, for that. Now, in the money market, the rupee ended at a record low once again. The rupee weakened by 10 paise against the greenback as the dollar index continues to strengthen. The rupee has ended at a record low in 11 out of the last 13 trading sessions. All emerging market currencies are weakening against the dollar. India's 10-year sovereign bonds also declined in trade, leading to a spike in the yields. Now, India's manufacturing output has slipped to a one-year low in December. The HSBC India Purchasing Managers Index for December stood at 56.4 versus 56.5 for the month of November. This was largely due to softer increase in output and slow pace of growth in new orders. However, the December reading still remains above the long-run average of 54.1, indicating a robust rate of growth. Meanwhile, China's factory activity grew in December, but at a slower pace than expected. As per a private sector survey compiled by S&P, overall sales were dampened by falling export orders amidst concerns over the trade outlook. Manufacturing PMI came in at 50.5 in December versus 51.5 in the previous month. Remaining in the expansion territory, however, the rate of output expansion eased to a 3-month low. The data has reinforced the call for additional stimulus measures to boost the Chinese economy. Now back home, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman met stakeholders from the financial sector and capital markets ahead of the budget. Industry sought simpler taxation policies and procedures. This is the 7th round of pre-budget consultations ahead of the budget on the 1st of February.
Final is relating to the taxation front. Today, every non-individual borrower, when he borrows from NBFCs on every EMI, he deducts a 10% TDS. It serves no useful purpose. Government is not getting any additional revenue. There is no benefit to the borrower or to the lender. But in turn, it is creating an operational nightmare. And we've had a lot of cases where we are not able to get credit for that TDS deducted by the borrower because of wrong quoting of PAN, etc. And we are the only class of financial institutions who are not exempted. So there is a strong case here to exempt NBFCs from TDS under 194A.
In more policy news, the government has constituted a working group to revise the base year for the current series of wholesale price index. The base year will be changed from the current year of 2011-12 to 2022-2023. The working group will be headed by Niti Aayog member Ramesh Chand. Now some action from the auto space. The government launched the Auto PLI scheme in 2021, and the first installment of incentive disbursement under this scheme is anticipated to come through in the 4th quarter of FY25. Claims approved for Tata Motors and M&M comes to a total of 246 crore rupees. Parikshit Luthra joins us now with more details. Parikshit, take us through the investments that have been made in FY24 and the claims that are being approved.
Well, there were a total of 85 companies across vehicle OEMs and the auto component sector which had qualified for the Auto PLI scheme. But very few have actually come forward to submit their claims for incentives. And the government has now been holding meetings to understand why has the takeoff from the industry been slow so far. Now, the reasons are as follows. Some of these companies have not made any electric foray till now. Number two, some don't see the need for additional capacity as has to be done under the scheme. And thirdly, they are not sure if they will be able to achieve the kind of sales numbers which this scheme demands. Having said that, the government still remains confident, according to our sources, that the PLI scheme will achieve its target and the entire allotment under the scheme will be exhausted. But the idea is to have more players in the auto industry take advantage of this. So the first incentive disbursement is going to take place in Q4 of FY25. The total claims by Mahindra Group and Tata Motors amount to 246 crores, and this has now been approved. So it can be disbursed anytime soon. According to the government, the PLI scheme has facilitated investment of 20,715 crores, and they have led to incremental sales of 10,472 crores. Between Mahindra and Tata Group, Mahindra has submitted claims of 104 crore rupees. They have had incremental sales of 800 crores, and they've made an investment of 978 crores. For Tata Motors, they've submitted an incentive of 142 crores in FY24, and they've sold 1,380 crore worth of EV products from the Tiago EV, Starbus EV, and Ace EV. So these are only vehicles which have so far qualified under the DVA norms. All companies have to make individual claims and individual applications for each product that they have. The minister has said that he's very hopeful that more companies will come forward to submit their applications and make investments and set up more capacity for electric vehicle and component manufacturing. The scheme is operational till FY28, and the incentive disbursement cycle is between FY25 and FY29.
Right, Pariksha, thanks a lot for that. Now, sticking with the electric vehicle space, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal will be meeting electric vehicle makers tomorrow. The meeting is being held to discuss ways to increase the spread of EV charging infrastructure in the country. Speaking to CNBC TV 18, Rajiv Chhabra of GSW MG Motor India said that electric car penetration in India is expected to grow from 3.5% in FY25 to 5% in FY26.
We ended this calendar year at about 3.5%. 3.5% of the industry was EV. This should grow to, I think, 5.5% next year. In my personal opinion, the tipping point where really it becomes kind of a mass movement is around 10 to 12%. So we are getting closer to that. So I think next year is going to be a mega year for EV for the industry.
Well, the Karnataka State Cabinet has approved a 15% hike in bus fares. The rise in ticket prices will be effective from the 5th of January. The hike will be applicable on 4 state transport corporations, including the KSRTC and the BMTC. The fare hike comes amidst increasing operational costs and significant revenue gaps in state-run transport corporations. KSRTC alone saw a loss of up to 295 crore rupees in just the last 3 months. Now, quick commerce platform Blinkit has launched a 10-minute ambulance service in Gurugram. In a post on social media platform X, the company CEO, Albinder Dhinsaz, said that the company has launched 5 ambulances starting from today. An image attached to the post mentioned that the service will be available at a flat rate of 2,000 rupees each. Ambulance will have a paramedic, an assistant, and a trained driver. Now, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu has said that no action will be taken against the Adani Group over US allegations of bribery without concrete proof. This comes 5 weeks after Naidu said that the charges have been damaging to brand Andhra Pradesh, and he had promised at that time to take action. Shilpa Rani Peta is joining us now with more on the statements coming in from Chandrababu Naidu. Shilpa, just a quick word here. The state government, it seems, is softening its position.
More than a month after a US court indicted the Adani Group over bribery allegations and put the former Andhra government under Vice Jagan Mohan Reddy in the dock, current Andhra Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu seems to have decided to wait and watch and not take any immediate action. Naidu says that the TDP will wait for concrete proof to be able to take any action on former CM Jagan Mohan Reddy and wait for the outcome of the ongoing case in the US. Naidu added that cancelling the contract with the SECI without any concrete proof could attract a stiff penalty. Naidu also said that he will not be indulging in vendetta politics, as this is a question of the credibility of the state government. Remember, in November 2024, a US court indicted Gautam Adani and others over allegations of offering bribes to high-ranking officials in 2021 to secure power deals through the Solar Energy Corporation of India. As per the allegations, Gautam Adani had met a high-ranking official in the Andhra government, then ruled by the YSRCP, and offered a bribe of 1,750 crore rupees to facilitate a power purchase agreement. The US indictment alleged total bribes of over 2,000 crore rupees, and a majority of it was allegedly paid to an Andhra official. Shortly after this, in December 2021, the Andhra Pradesh government entered into a power supply agreement with the SECI to buy 7,000 megawatts of solar power. SECI had then signed a power purchase agreement for 4,660 megawatts with Adani Green Energy and 2,333 megawatts with Azure Power. But with Azure backing out of the agreement, that capacity was then transferred to Adani Green. Now, this statement from Naidu now suggests that the government is taking a step back. Just 2 days, in fact, after the US indictment on the 22nd of November, Naidu had said that these allegations are damaging to brand Andhra Pradesh and had promised strict action. Back to you.
Right, Shilpa, thanks so much for that. Now, in international news, at least 15 people were killed and dozens were injured after a 42-year-old man drove a pickup truck into a crowd in New Orleans early on New Year's Day. The accused, Shamshuddin Jabbar, got out of the truck and fired bullets at the police. 2 police personnel were injured before he was shot dead. The FBI is investigating whether Jabbar had any links to terrorist groups. Here's a report.
Police say the driver was 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar, an army veteran from Texas. Officers said they found an ISIS flag in the vehicle. Jabbar was said to be in full military gear, subsequently got in a shootout with police and was killed. The incident has prompted an investigation into possible links to terrorist organizations. Investigators say they found weapons and potential explosives in the suspect's vehicle. They also say he may not have acted alone. A search is ongoing for his known associates. Public records show Jabbar worked in real estate in Houston. He had spent 10 years in the US military as a human resources and IT specialist and had been deployed to Afghanistan. US President Joe Biden condemned the attack in a media briefing and revealed more details about Jabbar.
The FBI also reported to me that mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill.
Biden also said investigators were checking for any link to a vehicle explosion outside Trump Tower in Las Vegas, but that no evidence had been found so far. ISIS, also called Islamic State or ISIL, is a Muslim militant group. It once imposed a reign of terror in Iraq and Syria until it collapsed from fighting a US-led coalition. Experts say ISIS has continued to recruit sympathizers online. Following the attack, New Orleans postponed college football's Sugar Bowl, which is played each year on New Year's Day. The city will also be the site of the NFL Super Bowl on February 9th.
Well, meanwhile, a Tesla Cybertruck exploded outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas yesterday, killing the driver and injuring 7 others. Authorities have said that they found gas canisters, camp fuel canisters, and large firework mortars in the back of this truck. The FBI is probing whether the incident was a terrorist act.
A Tesla Cybertruck exploded outside the Trump International Hotel, Las Vegas, Wednesday morning. Las Vegas police released this video of the blast, which killed the driver and injured several others. They also released footage that showed the vehicle's interior afterward, which they said showed gas and camp fuel canisters, as well as large firework mortars. Tesla CEO Elon Musk said the blast was unrelated to the Cybertruck itself, saying in a post on X, quote, "All vehicle telemetry was positive at the time of the explosion." FBI Special Agent Jeremy Schwartz told reporters on Wednesday that it was not yet clear whether the blast was an act of terrorism.
I know everybody's interested in that word and trying to see if we can say, hey, this is a terrorist attack. That is our goal, and that's what we're trying to do.
He added the vehicle had been rented in Colorado and that the FBI had identified the driver, but was not yet ready to publicly name them. The Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas is part of the Trump Organization, the company of President-elect Donald Trump, who will return to the White House later this month. Musk was a key backer of Trump in his 2024 presidential campaign and is also an advisor to the incoming president. The explosion occurred just hours after a man drove a truck into crowds of New Year's Day revelers in New Orleans, killing 15. The FBI said an ISIS flag was attached to a staff protruding from the trailer hitch, and that a potential explosive device was found in the rented vehicle. Las Vegas police said both that vehicle and the Cybertruck had been rented through car-sharing service Turo. President Joe Biden on Monday said law enforcement was still investigating whether the Las Vegas explosion and the New Orleans attack were linked.
Well, at least 12 people have been killed in a mass shooting that started at a restaurant in small town in Montenegro and continued at 3 different locations. Alexander Martinovic, a local man who was suspected of carrying out these shootings, died after he shot himself and succumbed to his injuries while being transported to the hospital. Now, South Korean police have raided Muan International Airport and the office of Jeju Air. Reports have said that the police have banned the airline's chief from leaving the country amidst the investigation. The police have also issued a statement saying that they plan to swiftly and rigorously determine the cause of the country's deadliest aviation accident. And coming up on India Business Hour, Mumbai sees over 140,000 property registrations in 2024, the highest in 13 years. Residential properties constitute 80% of the total registrations. More details in just a bit. And you can also catch all CNBC TV 18's news and updates on Facebook, X, Threads, Instagram, and JioCinema. In international news, Israeli forces have bombed a humanitarian zone in southern Gaza, killing at least 11 Palestinians. Heavy rains and flooding has worsened the situation, the humanitarian crisis in the enclave. Israeli Defense Minister has warned Hamas that if it does not stop these attacks and release captives held in Gaza, the group will receive blows. Well, from one war-torn region to another, Russia launched a strike on Ukraine on New Year's Day, killing at least 2 people and wounding 6 others. The strike also damaged 2 buildings in the district. The Ukrainian military has claimed to have shot down 63 Russian drones launched by Russia overnight. Now, back home, Mumbai city has witnessed over 140,000 property registrations in 2024. That's the highest in 13 years. As per a report by Knight Frank, residential properties constitute 80% of the total registrations. However, market share of properties under 50 lakhs have declined from 30% in 2023 to 25%, reflecting a shift in buyer preference towards costlier properties. Timsy Jaipuria is joining us now with more details. Timsy, take us through this report.
Mumbai's real estate market wrapped up 2024 with a record registrations of the tune of 1.41 lakhs. This is 11% higher than 1.26 lakh properties registered in 2023. According to a Knight Frank report, the number of registrations in 2024 was the highest in 13 years, showcasing the city's sustained demand for real estate despite global economic challenges. The registrations stood at 1.26 lakh in 2023, 1.22 lakh in 2022, and 1.11 lakh in 2021. Property registrations in the few years preceding 2020 was under 1 lakh. Knight Frank's analysis is based on the data accessed from the Inspector General of Registration and Controller of Stamps of Maharashtra, and 80% of the registrations were in the residential segment, whereas the remaining 20% were of the non-residential assets. Mumbai's premium housing segment has seen significant traction, and the properties priced at 2 crores and above accounted to 23% of total registrations in December 2024 alone, up from 18% in December 2023. Transactions in this segment reached to 2,879, indicating a growing preference of luxury homes. Conversely, properties valued under 50 lakhs saw a decline in their market share, dropping from 30% in 2023 to 25% in 2024, reflecting a shift in the buyer preference towards higher value assets, according to the report. In terms of market share, the report claims that the western and central suburbs maintained their dominance, contributing to 86% of the total market share. Notably, the central suburbs saw a surge in their share from 29% to 33%, driven by increased supply and heightened interest from end users. Meanwhile, the western suburbs experienced a marginal decline from 57% to 53%.
Right, Timsy, thanks so much for that. Now, the Supreme Court has agreed to hear a batch of applications seeking stricter implementation of the Places of Worship Act on the 17th of February. This also includes one filed by AIMIM chief and Lok Sabha MP Asauddin Owaisi. The law, which was enacted in 1991, aims to maintain the religious character of a place as it existed on the 15th of August 1947. The court has already heard pleas challenging the validity of this act. And staying with court action, the Supreme Court has pulled up the government of Punjab as farmer leader Dalewal's hunger strike entered day 38. The apex court observed that the state government appears to be acting to ensure that there is no reconciliation. The two-judge bench has granted the Punjab government 2 more days to shift Dalewal to a hospital as per its original order. The Supreme Court added that it will step in if the state government fails to mitigate this situation. Now, 2024 was the warmest year on record since 1901, surpassing 2016, which held the record so far. According to the Met Department, 2025 is likely to begin with mostly warm days and nights over most parts of the country. Manisha Gupta gets us more on what has been India's warmest year since comprehensive data collection began way back in 1901.
Thank you for that. Yes, it's been a long time, 123 years since we started keeping records, and 2024 has emerged as the hottest, warmest year on record, as IMD has said. When you look at the temperatures itself, they have been higher than what we saw in 22-23 as well. So average minimum temperatures have surged up by 0.9 degrees. Average mean temperatures are up by 0.65. And if you look at the average max temperatures, they have gained up by 0.2 degrees as well. The rising trend in these minimum temperatures especially has been happening after winters and monsoon season is what IMD also tells us. And it's not just about India. You have similar reports coming in from various Asian countries like China and Korea and Vietnam, etc. Actually, the World Meteorological Organization also says that they're just compiling final information, and that official statement would be out soon. But 2024 globally looks like a year that could be the hottest on record. And there are various reasons for this as well. Well, to begin with, it's about continued burning of fossil fuels, the El Nino raised temperatures, which has led to this as well, and then volcanic disruptions in South Pacific, destructive storms, Antarctic sea ice, the second warmest or the second lowest in sense of snowfall there, and then glacier also losing acceleratedly is something that is adding to this. And the way we are going, well, most of these organizations also tell us that 2025 perhaps would be no different unless there is more political will and more being done to ensure that there is a reversibility of this. Until then, you perhaps are looking at yet another year with similar numbers.
Right, Manisha, thanks so much for that. But that's all we have the time for. It's a wrap on this edition of India Business Hour. Thank you so much for watching. News and updates will continue right here on CNBC TV 18.